In the beautiful green valley of Oakhaven, the morning sun was just starting to peek over the tall Rocky Mountains. It painted the sky in bright shades of pink, orange, and gold. A cool morning breeze blew through the leaves of the giant pine trees, making a soft rustling sound. The birds sang a happy morning song, but the village square was already filled with loud voices and excitement. Today was not a normal day. Today was the day of the Great Woodcutting Challenge. Chief Silas, an old man with a long white beard and a booming voice, stood on a large wooden stage in the middle of the village. He held up a shiny bag of gold coins. The gold sparkled in the morning light. "Listen to me, people of Oakhaven. Winter is coming soon. We need wood to keep our fires burning and our homes warm. Today we will find out who is the best woodcutter in the land. The man who can cut the most wood by sunset will win this bag of gold and the title of Master Woodsman." The crowd cheered loudly. Among the crowd stood two men who were ready for the challenge. The first man was named Leo. Leo was a giant of a man. He had huge arms, broad shoulders, and a loud, confident laugh. He carried a massive, heavy iron axe. Leo believed that hard work, sweat, and never stopping was the only way to win. "I am going to win," Leo boasted to the crowd, flexing his big muscles. "I am the strongest. I will not stop for a single second. Resting is for the weak." Sam, on the other hand, did not boast. He just smiled politely. Leo looked down at Sam and laughed. "Ha! Are you really going to compete against me, Sam? Look at you. You were too small. I will chop 3 trees before you even finish one." Sam just smiled calmly. "We will see, Leo," Sam said softly. "Strength is important, but how you use your tools is important too." The villagers all walked together to the edge of the Whispering Woods, a massive forest filled with thick, tall oak trees. The grass was still wet with morning dew. The air smelled fresh and clean, like pine needles and damp earth. Chief Silas raised a red flag high into the air. "Woodcutters, find your spots. You have until the sun goes down behind the mountains. Ready, set, go." He dropped the red flag. The competition had begun. Leo did not waste a single second. He let out a loud roar and ran toward the thickest tree he could find. He gripped his heavy iron axe with his large hands, squeezing the wooden handle tightly. He swung his arms back and brought the axe down with all his might. Bam! Wood chips flew into the air like tiny arrows. He swung again. Bam! 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 He chopped like a wild machine. He was breathing heavily, but he did not care. Within minutes, his giant tree groaned, cracked, and fell to the ground with a loud crash. The villagers watching from far away cheered for Leo. Sam, on the other hand, did not run. He walked slowly into the forest. He looked at the trees carefully. He touched the bark of the trees. He wanted to find the best angle to cut. Finally, he picked a spot. He took a deep, slow breath, feeling the cool air fill his lungs. He raised his axe and brought it down smoothly. Thwack! It was a clean, sharp sound. Sam found his rhythm. Swing, hit, pull back. Swing, hit, pull back. He did not rush. He did not yell. He just worked steadily. For the first 2 hours, the forest was filled with the sounds of axes. Leo was moving incredibly fast. Sweat poured down his forehead and stung his eyes. His shirt was soaking wet. He already had a huge pile of wood. He looked over at Sam. Sam's pile was much smaller. "Ha!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the trees. "I told you, Sam, you cannot beat my speed. I am unstoppable." Soon, the sun rose high into the middle of the bright blue sky. It was noon, and the forest became very hot. The cool morning breeze was gone. The air felt heavy and warm. Leo was sweating more than ever. His massive arms were starting to feel tired, like they were filled with heavy sand. His hands were red, and painful blisters were starting to form on his palms. But Leo shook his head. "I cannot stop," he thought to himself. "If I stop, Sam might catch up. I must keep chopping. Chop, chop, chop." His axe hit the wood, but it sounded different now. Instead of a sharp bam, it made a dull thud. Leo was so busy chopping that he did not realize his axe blade was getting dull from hitting so much hard wood. He had to swing twice as hard just to make a small cut. Suddenly, Leo heard silence coming from Sam's side of the forest. Leo stopped for one tiny second and peeked through the bushes. He could not believe his eyes. Sam was sitting down. Sam had found a comfortable spot on a soft patch of green moss next to a small, bubbling stream. He was drinking cool water from a wooden cup. Worse than that, Sam was holding his small gray sharpening stone. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Sam was carefully rubbing the stone against the blade of his axe. He looked perfectly relaxed. Some of the villagers had walked into the forest to check on the competition. When they saw Sam sitting down, they started to whisper to each other. "Look at Sam," a woman whispered. "He is resting in the middle of a race." "He must be lazy," a man said, shaking his head. "Or maybe he knows he cannot win, so he is giving up." The villagers heard Leo. He let out a booming laugh. "Sam, are you taking a nap? We're in a competition. You're throwing away your chance to win." Sam paused his sharpening. He wiped his shiny axe blade with a cloth. It gleamed brightly in the sunlight, as sharp as a dragon's tooth. "I am not napping, Leo," Sam called back peacefully. "I am taking care of my tool. A dull axe makes the work twice as hard." "Excuses," Leo yelled. He turned back to his tree, ignoring the burning pain in his hands. He swung his dull axe again. Thud, thud, thud. The afternoon dragged on. The golden sun began to lower slightly in the sky, casting long shadows across the forest floor. Things were getting very difficult for Leo. He was working on a giant oak tree, but his axe was now as dull as a butter knife. Every time he swung, the axe just bounced off the hard wood. Clang, thud. Leo gritted his teeth. His face was red with anger and exhaustion. His breathing was loud and raspy. His muscles screamed in pain. Every swing sent a shockwave up his arms. "Why won't this tree fall?" he cried out in frustration. He was using all his strength, but he was barely making a dent in the tree trunk. Meanwhile, Sam had finished his rest. He stood up, stretched his back, and walked back to his trees. Sam swung his newly sharpened axe. Swoosh! Crack! The sharp blade sliced deep into the tough wood with ease. Large chunks of wood flew away. Because the axe was so sharp, Sam did not have to use all his energy. He let the sharp tool do the heavy work. Swoosh! Crack! Within a few minutes, Sam's tree groaned and crashed to the floor. Leo heard the loud crash. He looked over his shoulder. He saw Sam cutting down tree after tree, moving smoothly and easily. Sam was not sweating heavily. He looked focused and calm. A small seed of doubt planted itself in Leo's heart. How is he moving so fast now? Leo wondered. I have been working without stopping. I should be far ahead. But Leo's pride was too big. He refused to sit down. He refused to admit he needed a break. I just need to hit harder, Leo told himself. He raised his dull axe and slammed it into the tree again. He worked himself to the bone, ignoring the pain, ignoring the bluntness of his axe, fighting a losing battle against the wood. The sky turned into a beautiful painting of dark purple and fiery orange as the sun slowly dipped behind the mountains. The shadows in the forest grew dark. The competition was coming to an end. From the village edge, Chief Silas blew a loud note on a large animal horn. Honk! Time is up, Chief Silas shouted. Woodcutters, Put down your axes." Hearing the horn, Leo instantly dropped his axe. He couldn't hold it for a second longer. He fell to his knees in the dirt, completely exhausted. His chest heaved up and down as he gasped for air. His hands were bleeding and covered in dirt. His entire body shook with tiredness. He felt like he could not take another step. A short distance away, Sam gently placed his axe on the ground. He took a clean towel from his pocket and wiped his forehead. He was tired, yes, but he was not broken. He took a deep, satisfying breath of the evening air and smiled. The villagers, carrying bright lanterns, walked into the forest to count the wood. Chief Silas walked in front of them with a notebook. "Let us count Leo's wood first," Chief Silas announced. The villagers went to Leo's area. They counted the massive logs. 1, 2, 3, they counted out loud. Leo sat on a stump trying to catch his breath, but a proud smile appeared on his tired face. He knew he had chopped a lot in the morning. 50 logs, Chief Silas called out. "An amazing job, Leo. 50 large logs." The crowd clapped their hands. Leo nodded, feeling sure that he had won. "Now," Chief Silas said, holding up his lantern, "let us go to Sam's area." The villagers walked over to where Sam was standing. They looked at his neatly stacked piles of wood. They started counting. 1, 2, 3, 20, 40, 60, the villagers murmured, their eyes growing wide with shock. The counting finally stopped. There was a moment of pure silence in the forest. Only the sound of the crickets could be heard. Chief Silas looked at his notebook, then at Sam, and then at the giant pile of wood. His eyes were wide with amazement. "Unbelievable," Chief Silas whispered. Then he turned to the crowd and raised his voice. "People of Oakhaven, Leo has chopped 50 logs, but Sam has chopped 70 logs. Sam is the winner of the great challenge and our new master woodsman." The crowd erupted into loud cheers. They could not believe it. The smaller man who took breaks had beaten the giant who never stopped. Leo pushed himself up from his stump. He walked over, his legs shaking. He stared at Sam's massive pile of wood in complete shock. "How?" asked Leo, his voice weak and confused. "This is a trick. It is impossible. I watched you, Sam. You sat down. You stopped working. You rested while I was working my hardest. How did you cut more wood than me?" Sam walked toward Leo. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his small gray sharpening stone. He held it out in his palm. Then he pointed to his axe, which was still gleaming in the lantern light. "I did not just sit down to do nothing, Leo," Sam said kindly. "Yes, I rested my body so I could get my energy back, but more importantly, while I was resting, I was sharpening my axe." Sam pointed to Leo's axe, which lay on the ground. The blade was chipped, dull, and completely flat. When you use a dull axe, you have to work 10 times harder to cut a single piece of wood. You spent the whole afternoon hitting trees with a blunt piece of iron. You used all your energy, but got very little done. I took a few minutes away from chopping to sharpen my blade. Because my tool was sharp, it did the hard work for me. Sometimes taking the time to prepare is actually the fastest way to finish the job. Leo looked at his dull axe, then at his blistered hands, and finally at Sam. The anger left Leo's face. He finally understood. He nodded his head slowly. "You are right, Sam. You are truly the master woodsman." From that day on, Leo still worked very hard, but he never went into the forest without his own small gray sharpening stone. Working hard is important, but working smart is just as important. If you never stop to rest, learn, and improve your skills, you will eventually burn out and become less effective, just like a dull axe. Taking time to sharpen your axe by resting, reading, planning, or practicing might look like a delay, but it actually prepares you to achieve your goals faster and with less struggle.